Hi, this is Melissa.
And this is Caroline, and we are hosts of Relationship Anarchy Dissected, a podcast exploring the philosophy of relationship anarchy, the many ways it can look in real life, and how we can approach all of our relationships, not just romantic, with a more open and curious mind.
We're sisters who came to resonate with this philosophy from two very different life circumstances. I had spent much of my life single, not in a long-term relationship. So I've had a unique vantage point of being a third-party observer, witnessing friends and acquaintances jumping in and out of relationships. So I felt like the pang of disappointment when they'd have less time for me. And while understandable, I began to wonder how much of that was healthy or necessary. Like an invitation to a friend for a concert being met with, "Oh, we'll need to get back with you. We're not sure what we're doing that day." I was pretty green at that time, but I was still totally taken off guard by that reply. It just seemed bonkers to me that somebody could lose their identity to that extent that they couldn't make plans for the near future. And there are exceptions, I'm sure, like having a young child or baby that takes up a lot of your time. And in that example, she might not have even wanted to go to that concert. But as someone who's lived as an independent agent outside of a relationship, those kinds of scenarios were more glaringly obvious to me. And it's why I think relationship anarchy resonated with me or piqued my interest so much. It was just like, oh, that's what I've been thinking or observing for years. Just overpronounced inequality between people and different tiers of relationship.
And for me, I came at it from kind of a different standpoint. I lived a very romantically conventional life. I got married in my 20s, had babies in my 30s, it's monogamous, traditional marriage that fell apart by the time I hit 40. And during the last years of that marriage, I did a lot of reflection around relationships, not just sexual, but all relationships. And I realized that there are more than just romantic and platonic relationships. There are all these relationships that are, kind of shades of gray that can be so sweet and special, but we discard them, because they don't fit these norms or like buckets of relationships that we put everyone in. And conventional monogamous marriage doesn't really allow for exploration of those shades of gray relationships. So now, post-divorce, I'm dating, and I've been really trying to apply this relationship anarchy mindset. And of course, a lot of questions are coming up, which is one of the reasons why we're starting this podcast, to kind of explore the questions that are coming up for us, and to talk to others who are kind of living this life as well and seeing what it looks like for them.
So relationship anarchy, or RA, is a term originated by Andy Nordgren, who wrote the short instructional manifesto of relationship anarchy in 2012. It's our philosophy, which draws its tenets from political anarchy and consists of several core values shared by most relationship anarchists.
So 3 of the main values include being non-hierarchical. So, for instance, they don't rank their romantic partners as necessarily more important than their friends. Being anti-prescriptionist. So there's no built-in prescriptions about what a partnership must look like. And then oftentimes they are non-monogamous. So some relationship anarchists are polyamorous, and some poly people practice relationship hierarchy, but the two are more like overlapping circles than synonyms. I'm actually really curious to talk about this as well, because I think that there's also room for a relationship anarchist to kind of happen to be monogamous, but maybe in a different kind of way.
Right. Yeah, me too, because I kind of associate more with that group, I'm thinking. So I am curious how they walk the line between being a relationship anarchist and still being monogamous. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And in the coming episodes, we'll be exploring in more depth the nuances of this philosophy and hope to learn along with our listeners how we can practice more intentionally in our relationships and less on falling back into societal norms.
So thanks for listening to our intro episode. If you have suggestions for topics or interviewees, send us an email at raddissected@gmail.com. That's raddissected with 1D. We look forward to hearing from you.
The truth is